Hello. It's the third week of August 2019, and if you'll recall, back in a few months ago in May of 2019, I filed an extensive application for Medicaid long-term care coverage on behalf of 97-year-old Aunt Loretta. And I filed it then in May, and since then there have been hurdles after hurdles to get through the process. It's not done yet. Today I was called back to Hudson County Medicaid to file additional paperwork for which they were reviewing, and it's been a very long, painful, difficult process. It is not easy. Medicaid coverage is separated into two parts: financial eligibility and medical eligibility. The state of New Jersey, through an office called Office of Community Choice Options, otherwise known as OCO, are in charge of medical evaluations to make sure you're medically eligible for Medicaid coverage. And unfortunately, the state screwed that up, as they always do with this OCO office, and they were tardy in giving the evaluation to Aunt Loretta. And then when they finally gave her the evaluation just a couple of weeks ago, don't forget I filed this application in May, just a couple of weeks ago, they screwed up the pickup date of when they would allow the coverage to start. It was supposed to start in June 1st, and instead OCO certified a July 1st date for pickup coverage. That was massively difficult for us to handle because it meant that Aunt Loretta would have a whole entire month of June with uncovered for coverage. So that would be way too expensive. She can't pay it out of pocket. I can't afford it. She's in the Peace Care St. Joseph's long-term care facility right now in Jersey City, getting excellent care, but she needs the Medicaid coverage in order to stay there and to get the care that she needs. So after the state screwed it up, it caused the Hudson Medicaid to require even additional information for the Medicaid application, above and beyond the extensive information I already supplied in May. And if you'll recall, a giant legal folder with lots and lots and lots and lots of paperwork. They'd never seen a Medicaid application so thorough before. And yet they still need additional information because OCO screwed up the process by putting in the wrong pickup date for the coverage. And I believe now, I've been working on it for the past couple of weeks to get that straightened out. I believe it's just about straightened out now, and OCO is going to fix the pickup date, and we'll get back on track. But in the meantime, Hudson County Medicaid needed additional information, which I just came back from there, and I filed a whole bunch of stuff they needed. Of course, there was the notice I got from them that they needed the supplemental information. I had to give them additional banking information, more banking information, beyond what I already supplied in May, and rent checks, and, very important, a copy of Aunt Loretta's private Horizon Blue Cross Blue Shield insurance payment that we made about a month or so ago for her quarterly premium. And what good are they? What good is Horizon, for Pete's sakes? They're not covering everything in the facility. That's going to be mostly Medicaid, and Horizon is a supplemental. But she pays the premium for Horizon, so she's not getting that free. That's for sure. And she pays over $4,000, by the way, a year for Horizon Blue Cross supplemental insurance. Now, let me tell you something. For a person with very low income, who's disabled, who's very elderly, a $4,000+ health insurance bill is a killer. A killer. This system stinks. It doesn't help people who really need help. And Medicaid makes you jump through hoops like you wouldn't believe to get coverage. And of course, with the rest of this information, I gave them an additional supplemental executive summary. Like I gave the executive summary in the last package, I gave them a new executive summary. So I did that today. Still waiting for the Medicaid gods to render a verdict, a final verdict. So we got OCO fixing their medical evaluation information. And then we've got the financial eligibility from Hudson County Medicaid processing this information. You would think that everything I gave them in May would have been enough, and that was painful. That was like taking blood out of a stone. And now they need even more information. The system does not work for regular people. If you have a lot of money and you could buy yourself your own personal private long-term care, you could buy yourself your own personal long-term health care coverage, wonderful. But if you can't afford any of that, and most people cannot, you're stuck. You're stuck running through hoops. And what about those poor people out there who don't have someone to advocate for them or to do the necessary administrative work it takes to put this information together and supply it and work on it over and over months of time? They're lost. They're totally lost. Aunt Loretta, I'm lovingly proud to do it for Aunt Loretta. But what about all those people who don't have anyone to do it? I think the whole system stinks. I think the healthcare system, whether it be immediate acute care or long-term coverage for those who are disabled or extremely elderly, disabled, whatever, they are in trouble. It's very difficult. So don't think it's so easy. You think Medicaid is so easy. It is not, as you can see. So that's it for now. As soon as I get a final verdict, waiting months and months for a final verdict of Aunt Loretta's Medicaid application for her long-term care coverage so she can be fully and completely cared for properly. Don't forget, in the last few months, she's had a couple of heart attacks and a couple of strokes. It has been a very, very difficult few months for her. And she's recovered pretty nicely, but she's still at 97. She's disabled now. And she needs full-time care, and she's very she's got a lot of problems there, and she hangs on tough. She's tough. She's the toughest person I've ever met. And you got to be tough just to get through this doggone Medicaid process, for God's sakes. So anyway, that's the status, and I'll check back in with you as soon as I hear something permanent or something new from the Medicaid gods who are going to render the final verdict, and I'll let you know what's going on. In the meantime, I'm just trying to get through day to day, 24 hours at a time. It's been tough. The whole process has been difficult. Take care. I'll see you next time. Thanks for checking in.